Some sneaky big news, Schefter. The Patriots announced that offensive line coach Dante Scarnecchia is retiring. Scarnecchia was the NFL's longest tenured coach with one team, having spent 34 of his 36 years in the league with the Patriots. How big a deal is his retirement?
One of the greatest assistant coaches, not offensive line coaches, one of the greatest assistant coaches in NFL history. And when he was in retirement in recent seasons for 1 year, that was when the Patriots struggled to control the pass rush of the Denver Broncos. Without Dante Scarnecchia, that is a major blow to the Patriots' run game. It's a major blow to the protection of the quarterback. And we'll say it again, we don't know who's going to be playing quarterback. And so when Tom Brady goes through his checklist of items about New England, I don't think Dante Scarnecchia is in the top 10, but I do think it's on the list because the offense is not as good without Dante Scarnecchia.
This loss of Dante Scarnecchia is just as big as the loss of Rob Gronkowski last season because of the impact that Schefter's talking about. When we reference that Broncos game, it's not like they went out and said, we got to get better players. We got to go fix something. They went and said, we have to go get Dante Scarnecchia back because he is that good of a coach. The loss of Rob Gronkowski really hurt this football team, and it was impactful. The loss of Dante Scarnecchia is just as big as the loss of the Hall of Fame tight end because of everything he gets tied together, because he gets all five of those guys to understand how every play is so different, how to get them tied to performing at their very best, how they gets those guys to understand their job is to keep the quarterback upright at all costs. And so this loss is massive. And to Schefter's point, it's gonna factor into Tom Brady's decision.
First, can I do something before?
Yeah. Yes.
So good to see you.
He's going to give Schefter a hug.
This had to happen.
You guys, it was a love affair last season.
Y'all kept us apart all year long.
I know.
Well, you actually messed your mic up during
Look
that
at Schefter's hand on my stomach. It feels
okay.
good.
It's very nice.
That's where your tie is.
What do you think about Scarnecchia?
To that point, I think we cover college. It's just like Brent Venables at Clemson. Who's the next guy that can pass the message of the head coach as well as the head coach can? And you need that continuity within an organization or a team. And that's what you're talking about with Dante Scarnecchia. I saw Damian Woody send a tribute out to him. So not only was he a great coach, he impacted players. And that's one of the biggest jobs I think a coach has. So to try to replace him from a football standpoint, there are smart guys out there. There are guys that can get this thing done. But when you start talking about continuity, a familiar face, a guy that you know what you're going to get every day, that's what players respect. That'll be the hardest thing to replace.
I'm not sure if everyone saw this. Joe Montana told NFL media earlier this week that if he were to give advice to Tom Brady, he would tell him, quote, don't leave if you don't have to. Bear in mind, Montana left San Francisco to go to Kansas City, both teams in this game. Where, if anywhere, do we stand as far as Brady's decision is concerned as we move closer to a time? This thing has got to be no longer than 6 weeks away from a decision being made.
I would just say this. It's interesting because if you go look right now, right, at what's happened here in the last couple months, you've heard Drew Brees come out and say, I'm only going to play in New Orleans or I'm not going to play at all. Right. Do you hear that message from Tom Brady at all?
Certainly not.
You hear, I'm open-minded. You hear the league is waiting to take aim at Tom Brady. I think there are going to be a lot of suitors for Tom Brady. And so it's just building and building and building. And I think it's leading to a point where, again, Robert Kraft is going to have a say in this, and he's going to try to persuade Tom Brady to stay in New England. But that is not going to be a simple goal to accomplish.
Here's my thing. I said this a couple weeks ago. There's more for him. There's more kind of variables or evidence for him not to go back to New England than there is to go back to New England. I said, what does New England do between now and the middle of March to prove to Tom Brady that last year will not repeat itself? And now another domino falls with Scarnecchia leaving. I don't think there's any chance now that Tom Brady goes back to New England.
And you're saying what they're going to do between now and the middle of March. And guess what? He's not waiting. They're not waiting until the middle of March to get an answer from Tom Brady. They're going to have to know before. They're not going to go into free agency. And if Tom Brady say, well, I'm going to go tour, and they're going to wait on his decision and then figure out what they're doing at quarterback on March 20th. Yeah. That happened with Rob Gronkowski last year where he announced his decision after free agency, and they never got a tight end to fill a spot.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN+. We'll see you there.